Javion and Gwyneth here, developing a podcast regarding organizational leadership. Today we interviewed Jarrell Jackson, who we know is the definition of a leader. Jarrell is a former Mizzou All-American standout, ex-Kansas City Chiefs player, and now owns his own gym named Athletes Performance Institute, or API, here in Columbia. He is one of the hottest new entrepreneurs here in Missouri.
With that being said, let's get started. First we ask, how do you define leadership?
Jarrell defines leadership as, quote, knowing the ultimate goal that they are trying to achieve. Personally, the definition of leadership is applying the same maximum effort as the people under them. Leading by example is definitely a leadership trait, and also having the ability to get everyone to move in the same direction.
Next we ask, what does being a leader look like on the football field? What about as a trainer? How are they similar and different from each other?
He says, leading by example is the main leadership quality of being a football player. To be a leader on the football field, you actually have to be playing and be a superior athlete by producing numbers and contributing to the team's success. That is how you get people to follow you. A leader doesn't have to speak. Their actions speak louder than words. Day in and day out, 100% dedication has to be given.
Based on James McGregor Burns' definition of leadership, found in Dr. Lyons' definition of leadership from a communication perspective, we noticed that Jarrell's descriptions were similar to when it states leadership is how you act and what you do because football players need to lead by example and by their ability to perform on the field. Their power and influence comes from their commitment and dedication to their craft. Despite his many successes and achievements, Jarrell too has faced some setbacks of his own. During his time in the league, Jarrell suffered from a broken foot that ultimately led to the end of his professional football career. Through that obstacle, Jarrell stood tall and found new passions. From his own lane, God redirected Jarrell to put him on the path of achievement. He explained that what seemed to be like a failure was actually the steps he needed to elevate his life.
He said, for starters, God blessed me with the talent to play football. With that talent, I was able to complete a lifelong dream of playing in the NFL. With that being said, I experienced a career-ending foot injury that shifted my life in a direction that I did not understand at the time. That obstacle put in my head in a different place where I had to find the motivation to move forward. Motivational videos helped me accomplish that. I reached out to a former Mizzou teammate and best friend, Michael Egnew, and he suggested I move back to Columbia, Missouri. At first it was tough, but I eventually found my passion with training younger athletes. Through that, me and Egnew developed a business plan to open a gym here in town called API.
Even though owning a business is an amazing accomplishment, it comes with struggles of its own. Like many of us, he had to quickly adapt when COVID-19 swept across the country. We asked him, COVID-19 affected everyone differently. How did it affect you, your family, and your business?
He said, initially it was a big hit. In April, we were forced to shut down the gym, so we did not receive an income. But we had a lot of loyal customers that contributed by still paying their membership. Even through the pandemic, there is beauty in the struggle. We made adjustments since we weren't able to train physically. We began training virtually for our clients. During virtual training, we were very consistent with our activities. Day by day, we were committed to making things feel as normal as possible. And from that, our clientele grew, not only within Columbia, but to other states.
Jarrell's leadership abilities helped him grow API in a time that was difficult for so many. This relates to Chapter 10 of OrgCom in our book as he evolved through the three organizational crisis stages. For pre-crisis, Jarrell organized different forms of income to support the lack of income as he was forced to shut down his gym. During the height of the crisis, Jarrell found different ways to train to reach clientele and keep the members' bodies in good health. Post-crisis, because of Jarrell Jackson's dedication to his organization and his continued communication with his customers, his business not only reopened, it has grown very stronger.
We will finish the conversation by addressing how culture plays into leading a team and an organization. We asked Jarrell, how would you describe the culture at your gym, and how does it compare to the culture of being on a team?
Jarrell quoted, API is very diverse with gender, sex, race, and fitness level. In this world, unity is imperative. And by making API diverse, we attract more clientele. My business, API, correlates with my experiences with being on the team. Athletes understand in order to be a successful player, your team has to be successful, which means from the clientele to the ownership, everyone has to feel united. From day one, I have made it a priority to build relationships, whether it was playing sports or from a business standpoint. My goal has always been to build a platform for everyone to be successful.
Some of Peters and Waterman's themes for excellent organizations, as described in Chapter 4 of our book, that Jarrell exemplifies are both close relations to the customer and simultaneous loose-type properties. Jarrell goes out of his way to extend help to anyone in need. For example, there was an athlete that was struggling with a knee injury, but the athlete continued to try to push through it. Jarrell noticed and brought him over and spoke to him about trying a different movement that would help his knee. The technique boosted his confidence as an athlete and further developed their interpersonal relationship. Additionally, Jarrell strives to make API a place where athletes of all different backgrounds can come together to create a common goal of self-improvement.
Obviously, me and Gwyneth want to thank Jarrell for allowing us to interview him. We definitely appreciate Jarrell for pouring out his heart on so much information about leadership and his outlook on a lot of different topics.
We learned that it is important for leaders of athletics to lead their team in the right direction through not only their actions on the field, but by the way they present themselves off the field.
We learned that even in a crisis, growth is possible and can be achieved if the leader of the organization prepares ahead of time and develops creative solutions.
Above all else, we learned that the most important thing for an excellent organizational leader is for them to have strong relationships with their customers.
Lastly, we will end our podcast with a little leadership advice from Jarrell Jackson.
He said, make sure you show people that you are putting in work and are reliable. You want to be strategic in every movement. At times, you have to sacrifice the present for the future. The best part of being a leader is building other people to be leaders too. Motivate others to strive for perfection.
Thank you.
Thank you.